It is my pleasure to tell you a little history about an icon. Dick Wagner, lead guitar talents can be found on album after album of such bands as Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, Lou Reed, Ringo Starr, Meatloaf, Guns N' Roses, Peter Gabriel, Air Supply, Kiss, Rod Stewart, and many more. His hit songs can be found on over 200 recognized albums. He's had over a combination of 35 gold and platinum awards, Emmys, and numerous songwriting awards. Many of us grew up singing his songs. He is respected in the music industry as a rock icon. However, his God-given talent did not stop hydrocephalus from finding him too. In his case, he developed normal pressure hydrocephalus, known as NPH, after a massive heart attack and stroke. His diagnosis was a long time coming, which leads him on a 5-year downward spiral and the loss of being able to play his guitar. Thanks to the wisdom of an Arizona-based neurosurgeon, the hydrocephalus is diagnosed at the age of 68. And through therapy, Wagner is back doing what Wagner does best, writing, touring, and delighting fans. His journey has been something books are made of, and that is why his book, Not Only Women Bleed, is on the shelves. Yes! It was an awesome experience to join him at his book signing and get an up-close and personal acoustic show. It was a very proud moment to hear him make the announcement that he is joining Hydrant Angels over America to help bring awareness about hydrocephalus as our NPH spokesperson. I am honored to have him on board.
Hey!
Founding Hydrant Angels over America has been one of the best adventures of my life. It really has. And having Mr. Wagner call me a friend and express love towards me and this organization is truly a highlight of my very own music career and hydrocephalus journey. Ladies and gentlemen, the Maestro of rock and roll.
See her one time for Cherie. She is amazing. Thank you, Cherie. Thank you for allowing me to be here in front of all these wonderful folks. I'm just lucky to be alive, and I'm an example of the fact that you can grow old and still have hydrocephalus and live with it. You know, I discovered I had hydrocephalus by accident, actually. I'd had a heart attack in 2007 that was, anyway, I was dead on arrival at the hospital. But a great heart surgeon happened to be on duty that night, and he refused to let me die. So he worked and worked, and he did all this, and they brought me back twice that night. Then I passed out of existence and back into existence. So it was after that, actually just before that, I had been exhibiting all these symptoms of, very shuffling gait. I was getting to be like 90 years old when I was just getting ready to turn 65. So he recognized this, and he said to my manager, "Does he always walk this way?" She said, "Yeah, he does. He just kind of shuffles around, and he's been falling, and he's falling on his face, and at certain times, when he walks, he can only turn to the right. He can't turn to the left. And so that creates a problem, like if you have to go to the bathroom and the door's over here, you got a problem, so if you can only turn to the right." But he said to her that he needs to get a CAT scan. So they did a CAT scan, and they saw some symptoms of hydrocephalus, and they sent me to Dr. Joseph Zabramsky, who was one of the top neurosurgeons in the country and very familiar with hydrocephalus and how to treat it for that matter. So I went to see him and I walked in his office and he said, "I love your guitar solos." I'm talking to a neurosurgeon. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. So he turned out to be a fan of mine, and I quickly became a fan of his. He diagnosed me, and he put me in and put a shunt in my brain and started to relieve they put a shunt in, and then they take a tube and they take it down your neck and down into your abdominal cavity. And they, a little bit at a time every day, drain spinal fluid. Because hydrocephalus is caused by excess spinal fluid going up into your brain and making it swell. In my case, it moved it over to the right. I started leaning to the right. And so he did the operation, and right away, I hadn't been able to, because of my heart attack, I hadn't been able to play guitar in 5 years, and I've been known as being a guitar player. And I thought my career was totally over. It was going to be impossible for me to get back into music because I couldn't play my instrument. So I was out there in Arizona thinking that I was going to be dying in the desert, just drying up like whatever, just drying up and dying without ever playing music again. And what happened was that my life started coming back, and slowly I learned to play the guitar again. I taught myself. The hydrocephalus started to be under control. They did a few adjustments, and then I started to be almost normal. And that was 2 years ago. Here I am. I can do everything. And it's a blessing, to me to be at this age, 70, and then starting to be recognized for falling. That's very interesting. There was a story about, I did an interview with ABC News, and they interviewed me, and it went on the internet and became a viral story. It was like the #1 story for hours and hours on one particular day, all over the world. And it was just interesting to be at my age, having done the stuff that I had done, and to see this kind of activity. Because I didn't get this kind of activity when I was 25. So it's great to be here. We are partying like a rock star because this is how I party too. This is I Never Cry. until the TV is dead and gone. I may be lonely, but I'm never alone. And the nights may pass me by, but I never cry. Take away my eyes. Sometimes I'd rather be blind. Break a heart, break a heart of stone. Oh, baby, love, but don't you leave it alone, 'cause that's all I've got to give to you. Believe me, baby, it ain't been used. My heart's a virgin, it's never been tried. And you know that I never cry. And you know I never cry. Yes, you know, you know, you know, you know, I never cry. No, I never cry. Thank you, I appreciate it. Water. Let me offer my example of how the human being drinks water. Very good. Is that familiar? I was thinking that I would do a couple of these Alice Cooper songs that I wrote. They were hits like in 1975, 76. Those were the heydays that when Alice Cooper was the #1 act in the world. And I got a call. I was playing with other groups. I got a call to join up with them. And Alice was going to form a brand new band. And he wanted me to become his co-writer and lead guitar player, and to help put a new band together. I mean, that was an offer that I just couldn't refuse, so I did it. And we had a lot of hits and had some really incredible times touring and making records. And, you think that show business thing is, for those of you who have any interest in show business in any way, that it's a life of, fame, and you get all of that glory. And it's true, you get some of that, but you also, it's very hard work. All the traveling, it's not an easy life. And if you're not well, it's even harder, so. In 2007, at the end of, I'd been touring, and now I was kind of winding down a little bit. I was getting older, and I was not feeling well, which I tried to hide from everyone. But I remember having seizures, and one time I actually, you know, the iconic thing in a film when somebody falls asleep and hits their face into a bowl of soup, that actually happened to me. And I think it was hydrocephalus then, because I started having seizures, and no, I didn't fall into a seizure salad. No, I did not. It was actually a bowl of soup. But I started having these seizures, and I just didn't understand it. And commingled at that time, you know, I had my first heart attack, which was 1996. So the seizures and all of that might have been the beginnings of hydrocephalus for me, were kind of masked by the tremendous excitement of having a heart attack. I mean, it's an ordeal without a doubt. But I suffered through that one and survived and went on until 2007, where I had the massive, you know, bring me down to the ground kind of heart attack. And once again, I mean, just before that, I'd been having double vision, horrible double vision, and all kinds of things that were symptomatic of hydrocephalus. So it had been undiagnosed for many years for me. And when I finally got the diagnosis and got the surgery with Dr. Zabramski, I mean, it literally changed my life overnight. And so you can tell, you know, friends, and you can tell family that, I mean, there's real hope for it if you have it. It's curable in that sense. I mean, it never goes away because they don't know exactly why it starts, but it's curable, and it just requires having a hole in your head. You know, most of us feel all our lives, there's something wrong, there's gotta be, you know, because I'm me. And being me, being you is not always easy. But if you're falling and smashing your face on concrete driveways, and if you're trying to go into the house, but you can only go to the side of the house, you know there's a problem. So if you've got the symptoms, they imitate Parkinson's and they imitate dementia. And as a matter of fact, on that viral thing I told you about on the internet, my interview with ABC, the headline was "Rock Star Defeats Dementia." So it made it sound like there was something really terribly wrong with me. And there was, but I wasn't becoming, I took that as being like demented, you know. And I know there's a difference. I feel a little demented at times, but might have even acted that way. But basically, it imitates Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And so if you know someone who is having those symptoms, you know, and they think they've got Alzheimer's, or they think they've got dementia, they think they've got Parkinson's, you know, you can get them, try to encourage them to be tested for hydrocephalus. Because if that is discovered, if that's what they have, and I guess the statistics, I don't have the exact numbers, but there's like maybe 400,000 people in the country right now who think they have those other diseases and actually have hydrocephalus. And so hydrocephalus awareness, I mean, this is what this is all about. It's for us to do what we can to make people aware that there's another way out. It isn't necessarily giving into what you think is Parkinson's, or you think you're going to die of Alzheimer's. Get those folks to be checked for hydrocephalus. Because if in fact they find out that they have hydrocephalus, like I said, I am an example of what can happen. You know, after being completely inoperable as a human being, I'm here, at least I'm back. Taught myself to play the guitar again, which is pretty cool in my 60s. Obviously, I play guitar, I've been playing over 50 years, so obviously there's all of that ingrained in your brain anyway, but I had to be able to recall it and bring it up, and I was just in no condition until I finally got the operation. And about 6 months later, they discovered a blood clot on the other side of my brain. And even up to then, I had been having a lot of problems playing because I couldn't feel the time. I couldn't get the beat. I couldn't feel it. And my fingers still worked, but my arm didn't. It was totally paralyzed. I had been paralyzed for like 3.5 years before I really started to strive to learn to play the guitar again. So they took the blood clot away, and with the shunt on this side and the blood clot removed on that side, my brain decided to suddenly go to the middle, which is probably where the country is politically. We won't get into politics, maybe. But, I'm asking you to do what you can to support the awareness of highness. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do Only Women Bleed. I'm going to do that because that is the progenitor of the title of my book, not Only Women Bleed. So I'm going to do that. We didn't really have a chance for... This is Randy Reinhardt, by the way. He's my friend for many years. He's a great keyboard player. He's also a great steel guitar player. And if we could have bring his steel today, we could have done this country. But we'll just go ahead and do it as it is. It's called Only Women Bleed. He slapped you once in a while and you live and love in pain. She cries alone at night too often. He smokes and drinks and don't come home at all. Only women bleed. 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 Thank you very much. Okay, so Cherie, you right there. So that's it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Dick Wagner is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to run out there and buy his book. He's going to be autographing at the ending, and it's exciting time, so get back quick because it's time to award our 2013 Hydro Angel Award, which is why we're here today. So let's hear it again for Mr. Wagner. It's awesome event so far, and I'll give you right here for you. So 3 minutes and rush back. Stretch your legs. Thank you. Hey, Dick. Could I get you up here on stage real quick? Dick, other people are going to get some wonderful little things to take home, but I just felt like it was not really appropriate to give you such a smaller token. So I created something for you that I hope that you love, and I'm going to present it to you today. And ladies and gentlemen, it says, it is a guitar for Dick, and it has his picks on it. Everybody see those picks on that table? We have a special thing that says, Dick Wagner, Party Like a Rock Star, 4/6/2013. Something for him to take home and remember us by.
Thank you, Cherie. That's very thoughtful and very beautiful. I'm going to hang that properly in the studio.